Hello, guys. So, welcome to Beyond Borders with Vlada. Today is the first video for this podcast, and I'm super excited to have our first guest here, Heidi. Heidi, please present yourself.
Hi, I'm Heidi Jo. I live in Moldova, but I am from America.
Where exactly from America are you from?
I'm from the state of Minnesota, which is about 100 miles north of Chicago.
For how long have you lived there?
In Minnesota and Wisconsin?
Yeah, before coming here.
Oh my goodness, all my life. I don't know if I want to tell you my age yet.
Not yet, because today we're talking about how Heidi decided to come to Moldova, visit Moldova, and actually have a life here and still do it in America too. She has a double life, and that is crazy. I want to do that too. And for you guys who are watching, we'll learn today from her how we can do that and still find joy, peace, and laughter in everything we do with our lives. So, Heidi, what was the moment uh, that you decided you wanted to change your life by changing the country you live in? How did you find about Moldova in the first place? But before answering to that, please say something about what did you like when you were young, and how were you before coming to Moldova or finding out about it in the first place?
How was I when I was young?
Yes.
Okay, I am an introvert, and so I had really close friends, just a few, but very, very close friends. And we did a lot of fun things together. So in my day, we went roller skating, not rollerblading, and ice skating and sledding and skiing and all kinds of fun stuff. It was a great life. I had some really wonderful friends, and I have a very good family.
So you as an introvert, how did you how did it came to you how did it come to you for you to open up and want to discover a new
Mhm.
place, a new culture, a new continent?
So in 1992, we went to Bolivia, and that was our very first trip overseas, my husband and I. And we took our youth. So we began to take youth to different countries. I think we took them to 10 different countries over the years, and young people, and we just enjoyed it. But what I learned about it is I loved it. I loved learning about people. I loved learning about cultures. I loved just being present and being in part of it. And I wanted to keep doing more. And so I fell in love with every country. We were mostly in South America and England, and our last trip was to Moldova.
So when you came to Moldova as your last trip, what pulled you here? Why wasn't Bolivia better, for example?
I think, we have a timing in our life there are good timings in our life and maybe not so perfect timings in our life. So we had young children and very young children. And by the time we came to Moldova, our children were older. Two of them were in university. And then the other one, she came here and lived in Moldova with us for the first 3 years of our time here.
Okay, so you came to Moldova, you visited the first time, you came back home to the US. What was the moment or the thing that remembered you of Moldova that made you come back and make you want to stay here for longer?
Mm. You know, it's the people. And most of the questions that might bring up as we're sitting here chatting, I will always come back to the people. I absolutely love the people here in Moldova. Um, they're hardworking, they're kind, they're generous, they are great hosts. The country's beautiful, the food is delicious. So there were so many things. But you feel every country I enjoy, even still today, as we may visit Italy while we're here on this side of the ocean, or we might visit England while we're on this side. But this one feels like home.
Okay.
So we have two homes, is what we say. We have a home. We don't have a house anymore, but America is home, and so is Moldova. We feel at home at both of them.
So you're talking so nicely about Moldovan people. I mean, I think we ourselves don't do that, but was there a moment, or maybe are there still moments when you feel like you're not getting along with some of the Moldovans. Maybe there's a thing you don't like about us as people, because nobody's perfect. There's no culture that's perfect, no ethnicity, religion, or anything like that. Like something that you feel that Americans as people, as personalities, are better. Maybe something like concerning mindset or the values we have versus what Americans have. Something maybe that we have to work on.
You know, it's hard to pinpoint that. I think no matter who you are and where you live, I think we take for granted. We take our country for granted, and we don't like things in our country. But when an outsider comes to a country, they can see something different. So even for Moldovans to go to America and then they come and tell me, oh, I saw this and I saw that and this happened and that happened. I'm like, oh, we do that, don't we? And I think it's the same here in Moldova, where it comes back to the people. I love the people here. I love the culture here. So my favorite thing about feeling at home here is when there's a connection. So I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a grandma. And when I meet other moms, wives, and grandmas here in Moldova, we find this connection. And maybe we don't know the full language of each other's, but we can smile. We find something similar. We connect heart to heart, and then we laugh. And it just feels, I love that feeling. I love that feeling. So to say something that is negative, I don't really have a negative thing about Moldova. Uncomfortable sometimes. I don't understand all the phrases, like
Slang words.
Yeah, and I
Do you feel
just
like
started
an
using
outsider?
my.
Do you feel like an
Or
outsider
cutine.
when that happens?
Yes. Or when they go from, we try to learn Romanian, and when they go to Russian, then we're really lost. We're really lost.
How do you deal with it?
Yeah, it is what it is. I can meet somebody and they don't know English, and so they're uncomfortable.
Okay.
So I would say that sometimes we miss out on the traditions, or we miss out on some really cool holidays here because we just don't know it, so it's learning all that kind of stuff.
So how do you do the networking here in Moldova as an American? Do you go with English directly just because everybody in Moldova knows English, or at least should know, or go with Romanian first? How do you do it?
I use my simple Romanian. Every time I walk into a store, I take a taxi, whatever I do, wherever I am, I greet with Romanian. And then I say, I speak very small, I speak very little. And usually that's how I find out, oh, but I know English. Can we speak English? Can we please speak English? And then we'll start doing that.
Okay.
If it's only Romanian, like the taxi driver, if it's only Romanian, we do our best and we talk back and forth.
All right.
Simply.
Sounds good. But there's different kinds of people. Like there's people who mock others just because they have like a different accent. When I was in America, I in the beginning had a weird accent. I mean, I knew English before pretty well as well, but people would still know I'm a foreigner. I'm from another country, and would not bully me precisely, but just mock me a little bit just because I have a weird accent. Did that happen to you?
It hasn't. It has in America because we have different accents in the north, south, east, and west. And so oh my goodness, you're from Wisconsin because I can hear it in Minnesota because I can hear that accent. In
but it's not in a bad way. It's like they're just noticing it.
Right. I think, again, there's just things that there's some things I might not like, but it never makes me want to go home. It's just part of life.
When you came to Moldova, you probably had some expectations before coming here. Were they surpassed, or you came here and you were like, I expected more? What did you think?
I think Moldova has changed a lot in the years that we have been in Moldova.
From what point of view?
Just more modernness, I guess, it's not really my favorite word, but more opportunities are here. the
For
youth.
you?
Yeah, well, no, for us, but also for the youth here. You don't have to run from Moldova when you turn 18 anymore. There are opportunities here, and that's been really, really good to see happening. And there is no other country that I have been to that has the most amazing coffee shops like Moldova. I go to America and I wander my state, Minnesota and Wisconsin. My husband's from Wisconsin, so we go back and forth between the two. But I wander around going, where's coffee? Where's a good coffee shop? Where is, I don't know, it's just,
Yeah, you have it everywhere here.
yes, yes.
What's your favorite coffee shop in Moldova?
Tucano.
Mine too. I knew the answer. Okay, but it's cheaper to live in Moldova, of course, right, than in
Yes,
America.
yes.
Is that one of the reasons you stayed, or it's still the people? Okay, it's the people, but living here is still cheap. But is it like, is the quality of living here reporting to the pricing of I don't know, living in your apartment, food and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you find it better economically rather than living in America? Because insurance, being healthy in America is hard, and also
Very
healthy
expensive.
is being it's expensive.
Mhm.
So do you think it's better from that point of view to be in Moldova rather than America?
Definitely. We've talked about, we're hitting the retirement age. You can retire at 65, 63, 65 in America. And so we talk about that. Do you want to just retire in America and then go home? But okay, I want to make sure that we say this, because we look like we have money. That's just what Americans look like. When you come to a foreign country, it doesn't have to be Moldova. Wherever we go, it looks, oh, they are Americans, they have money. We do have more opportunity, and our salaries are good, but we want Moldovans to know that we respect you so much, because you are hardworking. You are very hardworking. You're very creative. You are very intelligent. And yes, our lives can be easier here. It can be less expensive here. Food is less expensive here than America. Medical care is less expensive than in America. So there's definitely things that are benefits for us being here. But then also rent is rent, and rent is even. Rent is really expensive in America, and it's very expensive right now in Moldova. So there's some, gas is more expensive here. We fill our vehicle, and that takes a lot of money to fill our Moldovan vehicle, where in America it's not as expensive right now. So there's pros and cons, but the reason we go home is because we have 4 grandchildren and family members. And one thing that we had talked about in the past is, you know, what do I miss? What is hard? And that's what's really hard, is not seeing your grandkids more than once a year, and missing weddings, missing funerals of precious people in your life, you know, my uncles, my aunts, etc., my dad. I was at my dad's funeral, but you miss out on a lot of things that the family is doing while you're here. And so what I would say is, there's good days, there's a lot of good things, and there's a lot of great days here in Moldova. And that outweighs some of the struggles and maybe some of the disappointments that we have here in Moldova.
Is there a specific picture, a portrait, or maybe a song that you associate your time in Moldova with, and one that you associate your life in America with, and which picture or song looks better for you right now, and why?
What's the very old song? Okay, we'll figure that one out for the next episode.
Dambalan?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
What's one of his famous songs?
Is it a love song?
No. It's a
Numa
yes.
Sometimes my genius is, it's almost frightening.
Yes.
Numa ye keep
Okay, that time, every time I hear that song, no matter where I am, I'm like, Moldova.
Yeah.
The other one is the train song by
Yeah, we just know it.
but
Maho, I think.
that
Whatever.
Okay, so I would say definitely songs. There's a couple songs that I hear on the radio. I hear, on our car radio. I hear in the taxi radio. I hear when I walk into a store. And I'm like, oh, this is just so Moldova. Or accordions, if I hear
Yeah.
music with accordions. But image, yes. Oh my goodness, I have the best image in my home. I bought a Moldovan painting by a dear, dear artist that lives here in Moldova. And he has a beautiful portrait of two babushkas on a bench. And they're sitting in front of their gate in front
Very
of the house.
specific of Moldova, yeah.
Yes. And it's like, that's going home with me back to, Wisconsin or wherever we land when we get back to America. That is definitely going to come with me because I look at that, I'm like, that is Moldova. I love my babushkas.
You just said you'll take it home back with you. So my question right now, although I expected I would ask you this by the end of the video today, is where do you want to spend the rest of your life? In which country though?
Yeah.
America or Moldova? Because you seem to be pretty attached to both places.
Yes.
And it seems like a
Yes.
huge decision. And I don't know if you've made it or not yet.
No.
So
it's a very difficult decision to make because, again, we would love to be here. There's so much goodness and we love the people, like I have said, and we love the food and et cetera, and et cetera. But our families in America. Do I feel more at home at one or the other? Definitely. I feel more at home here in Moldova. But my family, my mom, my brother and his family, and my kids, we have 3 children and their children and grandkids. I need to go to America. I need to stay in America when we retire because of them, and I want to. That's what we miss. We miss out on our grandkids' time and our kids' times. So
your
yes,
family
we would
is
love.
there.
We would. We would love to stay in Moldova, but it's not reality when you have family members somewhere else.
How much time did you spend in Moldova living here?
We came in November of 2007.
I was born in 2007, so 18 years almost, if not 18 years,
Yes.
like precisely. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of time to spend in a country.
Mm-hmm.
And how much time did it take you to learn Romanian?
We learn it every day. That's our answer every day. Every day I learn something new.
Were you curious about learning Russian too, just because you started to hear it all around?
A little bit. I have about 6 good friends that are Russian or backgrounds. And,
How do you speak with them?
We speak English.
Okay.
But they're slowly teaching. One has a little baby, Alexei, and he's so cute. And so I'm trying to use some, like, spasiba or naznaya or something that I can say to him because otherwise he kind of looks at me when he's only 1.5 and he kind of looks at me like, what language are you speaking? But
yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I would not be able to make such a decision. Also, another question related, like from the money point of view. So there's people in Moldova that want to study in America, like me, but something that might be a factor that pulls them back to stay here or go another country in Europe that's cheaper to study. Like, do you think it's worth it to apply in America for people who are watching and want to go there? Because we know that healthcare, university, to study there, to live someplace is really expensive, and being on your own might be hard. Again, there's the jet lag period, there's culture differences, there's different people, it's different mindsets too. So do you think it's worth it if you really want to, but the money situation is keeping you away a little bit? Like, how would you put it? Should I go? Should the people who want to go? If they don't have enough money, like, will they get around anyway or not, or they should stay here?
I think it's an individual answer. I think it comes down to what peace you have in your heart. Will you have great opportunities? Yes. Will you have a good education in America? Yes. But you can have a good education here as well, or in Romania or somewhere. Will you make more money in America? Sure, but you have more expenses, like you're saying. We have car insurance, house insurance, health insurance, etc. There's different things. We don't have the trolleys. I miss the trolleys when I go back to America. I miss the parks when I go back to America. We're sitting in a beautiful, lovely park right now, and we just don't have, and people use the parks. Benches are taken, and that's so beautiful to me, and we don't have that in America. So you have pluses and minuses in both ways. So you really need to do. I know Moldovans who are extremely successful in America. They're doing great. I also know Moldovans that have come back and now they're doing wonderful in their own country.
Is there something that you observed about Moldova, maybe a small thing that Moldovans themselves don't observe, but you did, and you fell in love with this thing, like be it some kind of bird or a park maybe, or just a place that we might ignore, but because when you go to a country and there's locals, they start finding out new places with you when you ask them, because they just don't know, though they've lived there their entire life.
We're guilty of that.
It just
in
happens
America.
like that. So is there anything like that that you just fell in love with that you think might be ignored by us?
I have some acquaintances and some dear friends that have been super sweet to me, where they say, man, you take photos of things that I never dreamed of taking photos of. But I see the beauty in Moldova. I think no matter where we live, we take for granted that the country that we live in. And so when you come to America, or you go to Italy, or you go somewhere else in the world, you're going to be, this is so beautiful, But I think we need to learn to not take our own country for granted, because there's beauty and there's wonderful people in both countries. But I would say definitely maybe we forget how kind and wonderful Moldovans are. You guys are, like I said, hardworking and amazing hosts, and been very, very good to us.
So you're saying that we're amazing hosts, right?
Yes.
So when you came to Moldova, when you just go to events, what makes you most of all feel like you belong there? What kind of tradition, what holiday that is not in America makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I really belong here? Like, I love this holiday. We should have this. Like we don't have Thanksgiving. Like, what is it that we have and you don't, and you like it, and you feel like crazy when it's happening?
One thing that we talk about all the time, my husband and I, is how we always get 2 Christmases and 2 Easters, because we celebrate them at different times in America.
Yeah.
So we still, it's the same holiday, but we celebrate them a little bit with different traditions and different times. And so that's been super fun. And now lately we've been doing a lot of American Valentine's Day. So now my husband, I always tease him, you have 2 gifts to buy me today and on the 14th, and on, is it the 25th or something like that? That is the other Valentine's Day,
it's
the old one.
Whatever.
And he's like, what? He says, no, because he's like, you already have International Women's Day, which isn't really big in America. I know it's supposed to be international, but it's really not that big in America, because we celebrate Mother's Day in May and Father's Day in June.
But here it's women, everybody.
Yes, but it's everybody.
Is there a Men's Day? Yeah, it's in February. I don't think people are celebrating it that much as we do Women's Day.
Yes, exactly.
Although men matter too, so yeah. So what did you learn about yourself here in Moldova that you would not have learned in America about yourself?
That I can do it. Being an introvert, I think of, can I do this? Can I leave my family? Can I get to know other people that don't even know my language sometimes? Can I have, our daughter was with us the first 3 years. Can I raise her well in this country? Is it right to take her away for 3 years of her age 15 to 18, etc.? But I learned bravery and courage. I learned to step out, and by stepping out, I've met wonderful people. I've learned to accept people. We get used to our own selves. We get used to ourselves as a Moldovan or ourselves as an American. And I've learned to accept others and to accept them for who they are. And I learned to slow life down. And I love that. One of my favorite things about Moldova is when we go to a restaurant and we sit with our friends, we sit there. We can sit there for 2 hours, 3 hours, and have this amazing conversation together. And in America, the server is like come on, I have people waiting for this table. Come on, I want more tips or whatever they're thinking about. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that we are not learning to slow down and just appreciate people and the relationships with people. So I would say that.
So about people, it's going to be a more controversial question because why not? I like those questions. So in America, when I've been there, I people who are Christian, I felt them as being Christian by going to the church every Sunday. Not only like having this Bible study groups for teenagers, parents, and like separated. While in Moldova, I feel like many people auto proclaim themselves as being Christian while they've never read the Bible before, don't go to church. It's just because my parents are Christian, I'm gonna be a Christian too, I guess. Like, what do you think about that? Or I'm sure you've met actual Christian people in Moldova, and you're going to say that there are these people someplace. What do you think about it? And you can not answer it if you don't want to, but where do you feel Christianity more, America or Moldova? As in how it's celebrated, studied, like the Bible. Where do you feel it's more present?
I would say, how to put this in words? We do have Bible studies in America, women's groups in America that studied it together, etc. We have that here in Moldova as well. There's churches here in Moldova that have women's Bible studies or men's Bible studies or men's prayer mornings or whatever, women's prayer mornings. I think we have God is the God of the universe. God is God. He's the way, the truth, and the life. God is God. So no matter where I am, if I'm in America or if I'm in Moldova or Italy or Norway or wherever I go, he's still there. One of my favorite things about going to Bolivia, my first trip ever overseas, was not overseas, but international, was I came off the airplane and we had to go down the mountain to where we were staying. And we walked into the church. And right before I walked into the building, I looked up and I'm like, oh, Troy, my husband, Troy, they have the same moon as we do. It was just so silly. It was so silly because, of course, you're going to have the same moon wherever we go. But it just hit me was like, wow, they have what we have what they have. And then I walk into the church and they're worshiping the God that I worship. And it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I will never say to someone just because of your choice of religion that I will never say that somebody's not a Christian. I will not do that. That is not my business, I guess you could say.
Okay.
It's up to them and God. And I'm going to trust that they have a relationship with Jesus because now that I see them in Moldova or El Salvador or Paraguay or Bolivia, wherever I see that the people, I hope to see them in heaven someday.
What are some small everyday things like non-negotiables that you do that make you feel good here, make you feel safe and peaceful, give you peace while being abroad or like not just Moldova, like anywhere, like as in a tip for traveling, like a thing, again a non-negotiable thing that you do that makes you feel good any place you do it. Maybe like meditating, journaling, sports, something like this that makes you feel like I feel like home here too.
So my favorite thing, like I have said, is learning about their culture. Wherever I go, I want to learn. My husband and I are not big tourists. We'll see some of the tourist type things that everybody wants to see, but we don't stay there long, and we always go and find where the locals are. We love to be with the people. So in the midst of that, no matter what country we are in, we will eat their food. We will try to speak the language if we have to, etc. But we also will do some of the things that we always will do. I do Bible reading every day. I do journal every day, and that gives me peace and gets me set for the day. I do pray. I'm really nervous about flying this weekend. I'm going a different route. I usually go through Turkey, and I'm doing a different route.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I know. But one particular country I'm really nervous about, and I just don't want to fly through there. So I'm going to really depend on and lean on my God. We exercise. We do a lot of walking in every country that we're in, and that makes the country feel known and at home. So we do a lot of exercise, and we try all their food. We do some of the things that we always do at home, like read our Bible. We stay in communication with our kids no matter what country we're in.
How do you connect with people when you just meet them? Because we met, you remember how? So Heidi's husband,
random.
Troy, he just approached me when I had a Michigan hoodie on, Michigan State, like a university there where I went in Michigan with my exchange year. And he was like, are you from Michigan? So that's how we met. But how do you usually meet new people in Moldova that you're interested in and you want to know better? Like, how do you approach them? What's the first question you ask them so you don't appear weird? Because I think we approach people differently in Moldova than we do in America. In America, I feel like people are more open-minded, or I might just be I don't know, subjective because I just miss America this much. But what is your secret for making people open to you back, Moldovans?
I think you're right. I think maybe we have learned in America to be more open-faced.
Yeah.
But Moldovans have learned to be true friends. So sometimes Moldovans will say to me, yeah, when you ask me how I am, I'm wondering does she really mean that? Because it's kind of a greeting for us. How are you? And then we keep on walking.
Yeah.
It's definitely more of a greeting. We're here. If somebody asks me or I ask them, how are you? They will tell me everything they need to tell
Actually,
me.
how they are, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's two different ways. I wish we could squish them both together. But here in Moldova, I know it's not common so much, but I smile. I smile at the people. If the grandma is right there, I help her open up the door at the grocery store, or it's just being kind. No matter what country you're in, if you're kind, people will be kind back to you. Maybe Moldova's not going to, like if I sit on a trolley and I smile at the person next to me, they might not smile back.
Yeah.
And they might be a little like, what's going on? But my husband's great at opening questions. And so obviously, and he'll get somebody talking. And next thing you know, we step off the trolley and we have this friend. Here's my phone number. If you're ever in Buican, come see us, and it's so fun. It's just super fun. So I think just being kind and smiling.
All right. So you said about people in Moldova not always being kind back. Does that affect you in some way, or you learned to kind of strengthen up and just you did the right thing and go move on?
Yeah. Yes. Because if you came to my country, you will feel stepped on sometimes.
Okay.
So if I feel stepped on at the grocery store or feel that I've done something to offend somebody, it's going to be the same way in America if we were swapped. We're just going. So yeah, I've learned that's probably part of the things that I have learned besides bravery and courage and etc. is just swallow it. They didn't maybe mean it. They didn't. It's their culture. I don't want to say anything specific, but just sometimes there is something that is very culture orientated that they do, and so they're going to keep doing that. That's just what they know. And so I can't judge them for that, and I can't be rude about that, even though I might want to scream. But you would do that for me in America because we have our culture.
Yeah. So, see, again, we have maybe not different values, but we have personality traits that are more specific to Moldovans, and Americans have other qualities like being more nice, probably more open-minded, and things like that.
If you're from Minnesota, you're known to be nice. It's called Minnesota nice.
Is there a way that Moldova shaped any of your character traits better, that you became better in some certain things, maybe like cleaning, because we clean like every Saturday in Moldova. When I was in America, I'd clean like once a month probably. Here I do it every week. Like, is there something that Moldova strengthened like a trait in you that you would have not strengthened in America because people don't do that in America?
That's a tough question. My mom is very clean. You could literally eat off her floor. So she cleans all the time. So I think it's personalities.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say those shoes. You know, now I realize how dirty shoes really are and why are we walking through our houses with them. So sometimes in America, it was more like walking. We just didn't always take our shoes off at the door.
What would you tell someone who's ready to pack their bags and go to America, like a young Moldovan? What would you tell them, knowing they're stepping into the unknown? They've never been to America before. They don't know what's going to be there. Like, how would you motivate them, or maybe bring them a reality check? How would you, like, imagine I've never been there before, and even if I go again, it's probably going to be a different experience, because again, there's 50 something different states, and every state is different, like a different country.
Yes, it is.
So how would you prepare me with words, like like in some words, what would you tell me, or a person that's ready to go there, in order for them to feel confident in themselves and ready for this new experience?
Okay, one of the things that I mentioned before is we don't have public transportation as nice as we do here in Moldova. So when you step out of your hotel, or when you step out of your new Airbnb, or whatever you dorm, whatever you are at, you're not going to have a trolley driving by. So that will be one thing. But I would say go and do it, because it's worth it. Just go, experience it. You can always come back home, and that's the best part of life.
Yeah.
You can always come back to where you were born. But if you have a desire to go, you have a desire to see something different, to experience something different, be willing and flexible. Not everything's going to be to your liking. You're not going to like everything about America, and that's okay. But if you're willing to try, I would say be brave and go. It's so wonderful to have that experience behind you. So wonderful. And you can always go home.
Yeah. But what about, okay, we've talked about America. Would you give the same advice for any other country?
Definitely. Definitely. There's countries that I liked more than others, but I enjoyed learning about every single one of them and experiencing
What
them.
is something about traveling that keeps you want to travel more?
I think it's just, seriously, it's people. It's
Different
like
cultures,
we were
different
in
people.
Italy last summer, and that was our first time experiencing Rome. And we met the best guy who gave us gelato. We went to him 3 times because he was so nice and so kind and funny, and would tell us all about his gelato and etc. And he made it so much fun. And the guy that gave us our pizza and our spaghetti, he took time to explain it and what he put on it and why that spaghetti was good and how long it was cooked. And I mean, there's just so many great experiences that we can talk about. I bought some jewelry. I like to buy jewelry from each country. I bought from a little guy at a stand. I bought a ring and a bracelet from him, and he's got to tell me all about it. And he was so excited. And where are we? And we exchanged conversation. And those are the things I remember. I don't, yeah, it was great to see the fountain. It was great to see certain things in Rome, but the people, it's no matter where we are. I remember great moments in Bolivia, Paraguay, El Salvador that we did with our teenagers, and I have no regrets. So it's meeting people, understanding their lives, and being part of their lives for the time that you're there. Don't just be an observer. Take part in it. We love hanging out with the locals. Oh, in Greece, we ate amazing Greek food. Amazing Greek food. And a lot of it was just because we went, hey, where are the locals eating? And we did that in Turkey too. It's just so fun.
Heidi, what is next for you in your life, if you know? Like, are you the kind of person who has a plan or just goes with the flow? I go with the flow, but I like to have a plan too, like, are there any countries in your mind that you want to visit that you've never been before to?
Mm,
And also, adding up to this question, do you think it's important to always come back home in the end?
mm. Okay, remind me of that part.
Mhm.
Next, yes, I do have countries that I want to see, most definitely. I'm Norwegian, and we did go to Norway, but we only stayed in one of the capital city, and only for a couple days. It was kind of like a going through Norway to get to where we were going. I would definitely go back to Norway and find my people. I know that we have people, relatives there. It's probably a very small amount, but I know that they're there. And I know that my great grandpa's church is there. And I know that there are, unfortunately, family members that are buried at the church cemetery as well. So I would love to see that. So Norway is on my husband's German. We've never been to Germany. So we would like to do that and let him see his heritage. And then I will go anywhere. I will literally go anywhere. I would love to see India. I would love to see Japan. So I will go anywhere. If somebody invites me somewhere, I probably will go. But as in reality, when we get back and we are retired, we have our pension. We'll definitely do things with our grandkids, definitely. And I know I need to do something that will be with international students some way, somehow, just to kind of keep this vibe going. And also maybe just find my Moldovan pockets, like of people, I know my son lives in Seattle, so I know we have Moldovans there. My mom is in Minneapolis with my brother and his family. I know I've ran into Moldovans and Romanians in Minneapolis. Arizona, I ran into a realtor who is and a construction worker who are from Moldova and Romania. So I know they're there, and I will probably search for them and find them, maybe join their church or join their activities or when they have big holidays and do their traditional things. And I will look forward to that because I don't want to lose what I have here in Moldova. Is it important to go home?
Yeah.
Yes, it's very important to go home because if you have family at home, in your home, we call it a passport country. If you have family in your passport country, like I do in America, yes, it's important to go home. Family is number one. Well, God is number one, then family.
All right. I forgot my last question.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no.
I'm gonna cut this, but
Okay.
I really forgot. So to end this on a, I guess, positive note or whatever note, it depends on you. So what would be a life advice you'd give to anyone who wants to change their life by moving the country they're living in? Like a general advice, something. What's the most important
So
thing?
advice to somebody who's going to move to a new country.
Yeah, and wants to turn their life around.
Okay. To sum it all up, definitely be part of their country. That's the most fun that we have here is when we're part of a family and we do something with another family here in Moldova. They take us somewhere new, or we go to we travel all over Moldova for work reasons, but also for fun because it's so wonderful to go to a brand new village and see, oh, wow, they have this monument, they have that monument, or, oh, wow, this made it here. Oh, that's a really cute coffee shop, and there's only 500 people here. I mean, it's just so fun to see Moldova. And so just to be part of the country and be the best you can be part of it as a foreigner. I mean, you are the guest. Be positive. Find good things and remember the good things. Don't dwell on the negative. Don't dwell on the things you don't like because it's not worth it. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you, Heidi, very much for being our guest today for my podcast, for my first ever video for this podcast.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm so proud of you, Heidi, for being able to answer to all these questions because we were both anxious for this little video today. And I'm so happy. So I don't believe happiness exists, but okay, I'm so proud that we actually got to the end of this video, and everything went so smooth. And this was a very nice and interesting conversation, and I found out new things about you, about your experience, although we've talked about it so much before. So
we're good at talking. We are good at talking.
So I thank you very much for being my
You're
first
welcome.
guest for
Thank
my
you.
first video. And if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them down below, and I'll try to give them to Heidi and give the answers back to you in the comments. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. And Heidi, if you have something as last thing to say.
I don't. Just have a great day. Enjoy Moldova.
Yep. Thank you a lot for listening to this podcast, and see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.